Check out the description box for the recipe.
Hi guys, this is Nisa at Culture Cuisine.
I'm Noah.
And today we are making pizza. So stay tuned for the recipe.
For your dough recipe, you will need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of yeast, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 3/4 of lukewarm water. And here we're gonna add the yeast, salt, and just a little bit of that olive oil. We'll save the rest to oil the bowl and on top of the dough. Add your water and just give that a quick mix until it's combined. And then we'll add the flour little by little. Don't add it all at once. Just add a little bit, mix it in, and do that with the 2 cups of flour. Alright, so now that we mixed it in with our spoon, just take your hand and knead the dough all around and make sure that you're cleaning the bowl as you go. And if you do need to add a little bit more flour just to get the dough off your hand, you can do so. Alrighty, so here's where I added a little bit more flour, knead the dough into the ball, and clean your bowl around with your dough. And you just want to knead this for about 5 to 7 minutes. Alrighty, so now that you have that sticky consistency, transfer your dough onto a floured surface. Not a lot of flour, just a little bit. And just knead it in a little bit more for 4 minutes or so. So now form that dough into a ball. Now get a clean bowl, oil the bowl and rub it in, make sure it's all over, that way your dough won't stick to the bowl. And then the rest of the oil we are going to put on top of the dough and just rub it in. Place your dough into the bowl, get all of the oil out from that little container because nothing goes to waste in my kitchen. And what you're going to do is place a plastic wrap over the bowl, cover it, and let it rise for about 1 hour. Or until it's doubled in size. For my stuffed crust, I am using shrink cheese. I used about 4 individual packets of shrink cheese. And what you want to do is you just want to cut them into 4 equal parts, and that's what we're going to stuff the crust with. Alrighty, so now that we got that done, let's move on to our toppings. In a medium saucepan, add about half a tablespoon of oil. You can either add olive oil, but I am using bacon oil. Whenever I fry bacon in the morning, I always reserve the oil for occasions like making pizza or frying up any other veggies. Alright, once your oil is heated, add half of an onion and let that saute for about a minute or 2. So now that your onions are sauteed very well, you want to add dried tomatoes. And if you haven't used dried tomatoes yet, you have to. They are so good, so sweet, and they give a kick of flavor to any dish that you make this with. So the dried tomatoes are already cooked, but I just want to build that flavor with the onions. And it's just going to be so sweet and a little bit tangy and salty. So let your dried tomatoes and sauteed onions cook for about 1 minute. Scoop it out and just set it to the side, and then we'll work on the other toppings. I'm starting off with 1.5 cups of Monterey Jack for the topping. And here's where I have about 16 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. And I'm doing a white sauce pizza, so that's why I have this much cheese. If you want to do a red sauce, go ahead and substitute the white sauce base for the red sauce. Now here I have 1 jalapeno, and just slice those up thinly, half of a red onion and half sweet bell pepper. You can choose any color. And now here I have half tomato. I took the seeds out of the tomato because if you don't, it'll make your pizza really soggy, and you don't want a soggy pizza. Now here's my dried tomatoes and onion mixture that I sauteed earlier. Now for my meat, I am using pepperoni and salami. Just slice those up thinly. And I got some diced pineapples there, and here is our cheese for the stuffed crust. So let's get started on the fun part. So it's been 1 hour, and as you can see, my dough has doubled in size, and it's so soft. I wish you guys can feel it right now. Now lightly flour your surface, and for my pizza pan, I am using a 16-inch pizza pan. I got this at Walmart for, I believe, $10. It was a pretty good deal. Place your dough onto the flour surface, and what you want to do is just press it down with your hand so that you get all of the air bubbles out, and just spread it out as you go into a circle. You can also use your rolling pin to spread it out. Alright, so now here I'm going in with my rolling pin, and you want to get the ends a little thick because you will fold the cheese into it. So just get the middle really thin. I like a thin crust, but if you like a thick crust, go ahead and make it the way you like. And just flip that over and keep on rolling it until it's the size of your baking sheet. So now that we got our dough to a big enough circle, take your pan and just measure it out, make sure that it fits over that. And now you are gonna take your pan and put some olive oil on it. And although it is a non-stick, I just like to put a little bit of oil, that way the bottom of my pizza will still be brown and crispy. So now take your pizza, fold it in half, place your pan next to it, and just flip it over onto the pan. And you want the edges to overflow a little bit because we will roll the cheese into it. Now you're going to take your hands and just press down the ends of the dough and just go around and make sure you get all of the dough. So now you're going to take a knife, make one slit, then take one of your cheese and just measure it out so that you can see how much you have to cut. Make 2 little slits. My hand is in the way, I'm sorry. And then make one at the end. Now take your cheese, place it on the big part, and you just wanna take the dough and just roll it in. And one of the end piece, we're just gonna cross it and make an X. Like that. Here's a better angle. Take your cheese, put it in the center of your dough, make 2 slits on both ends, and then you're just gonna take the dough and gently roll it into the pan, and then you're gonna take the 2 lines that you cut and just cross them to make an X. Now just continue doing this until you complete the entire circle. Now that we have the stuffed crust all done, melt a tablespoon of butter, add a handful of parsley, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Mix that well and apply it on the ends of your stuffed crust. Now that we have that done, grab all of your toppings, and like I said before, I am making a white sauce pizza. You want to start off with your extra sharp cheddar cheese and just add a nice thick layer to that. That'll be your sauce. Here's my little one helping me out with the toppings. Now you want to add your meat, then add your sweet pepper. Make sure you get that all over. Although my son is helping me out with this, I still like my pizza and all the toppings to be in perfect order or some kind of perfectness. Now get that all around next, and always remember to dice your toppings in little squares because you want them to spread out evenly. on your pizza. Not only that, you don't want to get a big bite of onion and then a little bite of like bell pepper. You just want everything to be even. I'll sprinkle a little bit of cheese and go all out with the cheese. I like to have a little bit of topping and a layer of cheese and more topping and a layer of cheese. That's how I like my pizza, but you can always make your pizza the way you like it. Alrighty, here, just sprinkle some more cheese, a little bit on top of your toppings, and then we will go in with our jalapenos. And these jalapenos are very fresh. I like to use fresh ones because the jar jalapenos, they're not spicy at all. And also they have a lot of juice to it, and when you add that to your pizza, it makes it really soggy. Alright, so now I am adding my tomatoes, and I'm squeezing the juice out of my tomatoes just to get all of that liquid out, and sprinkle that on your pizza. Once again, you want to get the juice out because you don't want a soggy pizza. Alrighty, so my little one gave up on helping me. Apparently, he is bored. So now you want to add your sauteed onions and dried tomato mix and just get that all over your pizza. So now we're just going to preheat our oven to 400 degrees and let that come to a heat. In the meantime, we are adding our last minute touch, which is the rest of the cheese, and just sprinkle that all over. Now go in there with your pineapple. I am using fresh pineapples. You can always use the jar if you like, or the can. But once again, do squeeze the juice out of the pineapple, then add it to your pizza. I like my pineapple to be right on the top layer because then they get like a little charcoal color on top and it's more juicier. So now that we're done with our last minute toppings, place your pizza into your oven at 400 degrees, and you want to bake this for about 35 to 40 minutes, but always check it every 10 minutes to see that the crust is still together and it's not like overflowing in your pan. I'm going to place my pizza into my oven, then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. This pizza smells like heaven, and as soon as it comes out of the oven, brush the crust with the butter and garlic mixture that you had earlier, and just let it cool for 2 minutes before you slice into it. Alrighty, although it's a non-stick, I still like to go in with my spatula and get under there so that nothing isn't sticking to the pan, and then transfer it to the cutting board. And I like to use a knife to cut my pizza. I don't like using that pizza roller because it does not work for me. And you will still get the perfect slice with the knife, but if your pizza roller works for you, go ahead and use that. Alright, so here's a close-up look for you guys. I just want you to see how yummy that looks. The cheese is all melted and the crust is well done. If you like your pizza a little bit more brown than mine, go ahead and leave it in the oven for 5 minutes more. Alright guys, there you have it, my stuffed crust pizza recipe. If you do like this recipe, please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe to my channel. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate it.